Hi, this is LaCount and Anna Anderson in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. We wanted to come to you tonight just to say hello and to send our greetings to you and let you know how we're doing. We were sitting in the CBF office in Decatur on March the 11th when we were just learning that the pandemic was beginning to be a real concern in our country. We had gone to Decatur for our reorientation meeting that field personnel have to be involved in every couple of years or so. It had been scheduled for months, and we had made many plans surrounding that event, not the least of which were speaking in several churches throughout North and South Carolina during the coming months. Decatur was in the process of closing schools, and we got the news that day that CBF NC was not going to be able to have our annual gathering. And my first thoughts were, oh no, this is going to be very hard if we have to stay in our homes. I go crazy if a snow day turns into more than two at a time. But my thoughts soon became much more serious and focused on just how real and how difficult this was going to be. We had to fly back to North Carolina in 2 days, and we were very concerned about being in an airport and flying on a plane, and the reality of that frightened us considerably. So many people would be trying to get home, and we were among the throng.
We decided to shelter in place for our protection and the people we would come in contact with for the next week. That began on March 16th. Soon we learned schools in North Carolina were out, and we were urged as field personnel to curtail our face-to-face ministry endeavors. Things unraveled day by day as we learned that COVID-19 was manifesting itself in unbelievable ways around our nation. Frightening times, uncertain times, times unlike any that we've ever lived through.
We have had to stop our after-school tutoring program in Nash County, but our church has come alongside to help the families that are in our program by providing them with groceries, an Easter food box, books, and activities for the children, and loving support in these times. We have helped out financially with that project. We miss those children terribly and feel so unfinished with them for this school year. I'm sure that is manifested with teachers 100-fold. We've had to stop our financial appointments with the Ahoskie community during this time as well. To a struggling community already in so much need, we can only imagine what we'll face when we finally feel that it's safe to return to those weekly appointments. Postponement of rent and utilities may be helpful in the immediate weeks, but no one is really sure of what that's going to look like eventually. Postponement is not the same as forgiveness. Please pray for the First Baptist Ahoskie congregation and the ministers as they seek to be the church as best they can be in these difficult times. We hope to find grants and other resources that might be available to those who live below poverty levels in that community to help them in the coming months.
Our work with the Kanita Family Life Center is still going very well. We have been able to secure funding through the generosity of some churches and other rural poverty initiatives to help get water lines dug and connect to buildings on the garden property. These buildings are used for classrooms and vegetable preparations, and eventually for housing short-term mission teams and interns who will work at the garden. Buildings that have a present and a future purpose. We're very grateful for the partnership we have had with the Kanita Family Life Center for many years. We've also modified our senior adult food distribution that we administer through the Food Bank of Central and Eastern North Carolina. They've allowed us to have a drive-through pickup for food boxes, and they've provided much needed manpower in these days of distributing food as safely as possibly could be. We're grateful for the partnership with the food bank as well. Over 90 low-income families in Kanita who are senior citizens and the surrounding communities are impacted by these boxes each month. and they need this food now more than ever. We're working to get this month's distribution ready right now.
Finally, you can help us by remembering several things. One, God has always been faithful to us, and God remains faithful in these days. These days look different to us all, but God is with us, and we are safe and well in loving arms of our Heavenly Father, unchanged, unwavering, never forsaking us. That's the God we continue to serve and praise every day. Please pray for all field personnel who are serving around the globe. Your prayer support is vitally important to us always, but most especially in these days. None of us knows quite how to navigate these waters, and we're all struggling to find ways of ministry that will connect our partners and those most vulnerable that we work among, the least of these, the often forgotten. We can't do this work without you, the fellowship. We're encouraged by seeing you, and if we know that visiting in person is not possible right now, we love seeing you virtually, your church services, your Zoom calls, your friendship and connections to us, your demonstrations of carrying on the work of Christ in your communities and places you are. Thank you for being the presence of Christ in all the ways that you are. This means the world to us to know that we're not alone. Be well, friends. Peace of Christ be with you all.